All right, and we're back again going into week 16. Don, how you feeling?
I'm feeling great, man. It's hate week. Let's
It
get
is
on the
hate
way.
week. It is. We get two of these a year and they're always fun to talk about, and then the games start and then we hate our lives.
Yeah, yeah. To be fair, as a fan of AFC North football, you hate your life 17 weeks, and then you get to rest for the rest of the year.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
It's
And
awful.
you hate your life 6 weeks out of the year, just a little bit more,
Yeah, fair.
because it's just always like that. But yeah, all right, let's get into it here.
All right.
Steelers going to Baltimore on Saturday.
All right. I
Saturday?
mean,
Yeah,
yeah,
Saturday.
it's
4:30
Saturday.
slot.
Saturday. It's the four. Oh, that's the 4:30 game. I thought they were the
Mm-hmm.
1 o'clock game. I guess the Steelers are the 1 o'clock game for Christmas. I mean, definitely the more interesting of the two games on Saturday.
Mm-hmm.
I'm excited. I think this is definitely going to be a test for both teams. Need the win. Steelers don't necessarily need the win, but the Ravens need the win.
I was going to say, Steelers, they're locked in to the
They
playoffs
they
at this
have a
point, right?
yeah, they have a playoff spot
I
no
thought,
matter
yeah.
what.
They do end up winning this. The Ravens do end up winning this game, though. Steelers still have the tiebreaker at the
Yeah, they
moment.
still hold the tiebreaker. It'll come down to the
Better
last
conference
two games
record.
of the year.
Yeah, well, I mean, yeah, Ravens just got to finish with more wins. Got to win this weekend and then
Yeah.
hope the Steelers slip up
I mean,
one more
you
time.
guys, yeah, it's tough because we both have two tough games right here. Us with you, and then we have the Chiefs, you have the Texans. Kind of see how this game goes. Little tidbit here for you guys before we kind of start yelling at each other. So Steelers are 8-0 when facing a division opponent within one game of them in the standings in Week 13 of the season or later in the last decade.
It's such a
So
weird stat.
it's a very weird and unique stat. And when you put weird, unique, and Pittsburgh Steelers in the same sentence, it all just kind of makes sense. Um, that's the fun of this. Anytime I see a stat like that, Steelers tend to just follow suit. It's been like that all year. It was like that with the Thursday night game against the Browns. It was like that this past weekend in Philadelphia. They don't win in Philly. They don't win on Thursday night against division opponents when they're away. And then the other one that didn't happen this year was if they go to the Raiders, they're losing that game.
Yeah,
Those are guarantees. So anytime I find like fun nuggets like this and it's history, I tend to follow it.
that's fair.
Plus,
Oh, sorry,
Lamar
God.
has historically struggled against the Steelers, just in general. He's what 2-5 now in his career.
Something like that. I will say that was the little nugget I was going to give on the flip side of it. I don't know if you realize this, but I saw it a few times on Twitter. You might just be on different sides of Twitter for that.
Yeah,
But this is going to be the first time Lamar has played the Steelers
I
at
did see
home
this.
with
Yep,
crowds, with a
yep, I
crowd.
did see
He
this,
played
and I
them
was gonna,
once at home, and
and it
it
was
was the
COVID,
COVID year. Yeah.
and that game was delayed because of Lamar.
Yes.
Way to go!
Well, again, I mean, we know how it is with him and Germs.
Yeah.
Love the guy, but
Um,
Jesus Christ, like
So it'll be a different game. Baltimore is 6-point favorites in this game. Can we talk about
that's
that?
insanity.
That's
That's insanity to
wild.
me. That's
So
crazy.
if you're betting, know where the money is.
Yeah, we'll just look ahead to that. I will be betting the Steelers +6.
Yeah,
Like
that's
I
so many.
just,
That's way too many points for this
it's
game
too
not
many
to take
points
that.
for me to feel
Yeah,
comfortable with. Like again, you get me Tomlin more than a field goal, dog. I will take that bet. I did it
and
last
and
week.
that's
It hurt,
another thing.
but
That's
like it just
another
makes
implication.
yeah.
When Tomlin's an underdog, he covers like 65% of the time.
It's something insane,
I mean,
and
he
it's
didn't do it last weekend, but history was not on his side. If history's on his side and he's an underdog, give me that all day of the week.
that's fair.
Plus, the Steelers, there's a good to fair chance that Pickens is back this week.
That's scary.
He wasn't a full participant today, but he was participating in practice. And it's Wednesday. So if he's a full participant by Friday and he's playing full participant tomorrow, he's playing on Saturday.
Yeah. Now that's going to help him a lot.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what kind of killed him in that first game too. Was just there's a few times that Ravens were locking in on defense there, and it was just over the top to Pickens,
Yeah, so they definitely need him
just
to
shifting
be
the field.
healthy. And I think that was another reason why they kind of didn't push him to play last week, was so that he could be more ready to go for this game and the Chiefs on Wednesday, because you need that. You need him to be ready.
Yeah, I was going to say between that, one thing I am a little bit concerned about for the Ravens is I don't think Bateman practiced today or yesterday.
I did see he was
He
down
is
again.
questionable. I do think he's going to play, but
That's good.
he is questionable. That concerns me because, weirdly enough, Bateman leads the league in separation rate.
Interesting. I
I
mean,
saw that today.
they gave him a contract for a reason.
Yeah, I mean, again, yeah, he's finally been healthy and he's been good this year. Like he's, not exactly what I think everybody expected him to be when he got drafted, but
No. I mean, statistically, this
as a
has
number
been
two,
it's been his best season to date.
38
38.
catches, 650 yards, 7 touchdowns. He's leading, or no, he's second on the team in touchdowns right now.
Yeah,
Nine
I
big
mean,
plays. Yeah, like he's having a year and
yeah,
played every game. Yeah, played every game. Look at that. Look at that.
he's
He's been a
coming up,
really good
man.
complementary piece with Zay
And
Flowers in that offense.
maybe they finally have two receivers that are okay.
Yeah. Also, the other part of this, though, I did see this, and I forget how long this goes back now. Derrick Henry hasn't had 19 carries or 19 touches in almost a month now.
Wow.
So it does seem like keeping legs fresh going into the home stretch here.
Yeah, that's your hope. But
So
also though,
I'm wondering if they just, really hammer the rock a little bit this week.
that's easier said than done for sure. I mean, the Steelers
No, I
just
understand.
stopped. They just held Saquon to 65. No other team's
Yeah.
done that in the league. I mean, in their first go, they held Derrick Henry to 65. So,
I think on
and that
less touches.
those are
Then
the
he
two.
only had like 12 carries, 12 or 13 carries,
He
I
had
think.
13 carries in that game. I
So
mean,
you're
it
sitting
was a
right on
different.
5 yards a carry.
Yeah. I'm not saying
That game just got away from him
they
a little bit.
crushed him. Yeah. But I'm just saying they did hold him to. They didn't let him get off a big run. That really kind of solidified the game. That's the one thing the Steelers have done pretty well, is there hasn't been a massive run this season.
Mm.
The biggest one was Jerome Ford for not Jerome Ford. I'm sorry. It was what is his name? Chase Brown. It was like a 40. Yeah, it was a 40-yarder by Chase Brown. So outside of that, it's been like 20-yard runs, and that's been their long on the season.
But
So
no, it'll be a fun one.
yeah, if you beat
For
us,
sure.
it's like a war
Bloodbath.
of attrition. You
Yeah.
really got to get after it, and if it comes down to the second half, I guess do it. The Eagles did. Don't give us the ball.
Yeah, no, you have to commit to Derrick Henry in the second half.
That's how it was.
Have to
So,
commit to him. Yeah, between just the time of possession and just like, because again, Derrick Henry gets better as the game goes on. Just because having to tackle that mammoth of a human being gets old, especially when it's cold outside.
Yeah. I mean, he is also now playing in a different climate, like more consistently now in his
That's
career.
true.
Like, I
Yeah.
get it. Nashville and Baltimore might not be that far on a piece of paper apart, but like temperature wise, geographically wise, it's much different atmosphere. So
Yeah.
because you're along the ocean, you're along the bay, you're close
Yeah.
by, so it's colder.
Yeah.
The wind's different. Same thing in Pittsburgh. The wind's different than
Mhm.
it is in Nashville.
Yeah. I'm also wondering if this will be the week that they finally get Keaton Mitchell going since they activated him.
Yeah,
They haven't really done that at
gotta
all.
wait and see.
Hoping. Fingers crossed, and you get a nice little two-headed monster coming down the stretch here.
Yeah,
Would be great to have. Yeah, overall, I mean, it'll be a bloodbath. It'll stress us out. And I'm just happy I'm going to have to work while this game is on.
Good for you. I do just kind of want to talk about how dumb this is. Why didn't they just make it 2 Thursday night games?
What do you mean?
Like, why didn't they give the Steelers, Ravens, Texans, Chiefs like a double header, like a
On
dueling
Thursday
like
night?
they do on Monday? Why would you not do that? Like
I don't know. Probably because Amazon doesn't have the staff for it.
that's I kind of forgot that it's Amazon that does Thursday night.
Yeah. They only
Because
have the
like
one team.
if you wanna give optimal rest to for the Christmas games, like that makes the most sense. Not let's toss it on Saturday.
It's true. Yeah, I don't know. NFL's
Yeah,
getting
it's
greedy.
definitely strange. But speaking of Thursday, let's go into the Broncos Chargers. A little bit touch on that. This is
Yeah,
kind of like the
an
battle.
oddly big game.
Yeah, it's definitely oddly big because it's the battle for that sixth seed. That's what this comes down to.
Yeah,
Winner
we
of
got.
this like clinches that sixth seed pretty strong here.
Yeah,
And it's interesting to kind of see how these teams have developed their game down the stretch here, with the Chargers kind of losing a foot and the Broncos figuring themselves out even more. And
the
like
Broncos
that's
just.
you know what they are, and they're continuing that even more so every single week with how well Bo Nix is playing with Sean Payton in that system. Like you knew they were going to play well together, but they're exceeding those expectations. And that defense just continues to produce at a rate that you want to see. Whereas the Chargers defense isn't the same as it was in the first 8 weeks of the season, and then your offense is now faltering over and over and over again.
Yeah, the interior of that O line has gotten rougher.
Yeah, I mean, not. Yeah, I mean, you saw. Did you see
That's.
that clip of
I was just gonna say the screen grab of it where it's like
three
showing
O
there's three
line
dudes, yeah, on
on
the
one guy
Herbert interception, yeah,
on one guy?
yeah,
That's tough to watch.
and Joe Alt
Looking at it
and
here,
Slater holding it down on the outside.
yeah, looking at it here, Chargers over the last 4 weeks have scored.
Mhm.
That's
I
not going
mean,
to do it.
since Dobbins has gone down, like the
They don't have a
offense
run
doesn't look the
game.
same. Yeah,
Yeah, that this has been their lowest point total since what is that? Week 7 against the Cardinals, and then against the two of the best defense in the league with the Steelers and Chiefs, they only put up 10.
on the
So
bright side, they get this game at home. You're not
sure,
playing in Denver at this point, like at this point in the year.
yeah,
So that helps a little bit.
yeah.
And
I mean,
McConkey
you
is
are, yeah,
healthy. But yeah, they need to get something figured out in the run game a little bit just to open everything up a little bit more.
yeah. I get that.
Like they need to find that second pitch.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, that's kind of really all I got on that game for now. Let's flip over to Texans Chiefs. This is another interesting game here.
I guess.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
don't
I guess.
totally have like any real strong opinions about this game. Like
No,
Mahomes
there's
is
no
probably playing and it's in Kansas City,
the
so I
biggest
like the Chiefs.
implication. Yeah, is Mahomes gonna be at 100%? What's he gonna look like? What does the offense look like if he's not?
Yeah.
Is CJ Stroud finally going to produce like you think he's going to against the Texans, against the Chiefs defense? Probably not, but
This feels like a game that Chris Jones is going to take over.
that's the hope probably for the Chiefs that your
Like an
front seven.
18-10 game, just ugly,
Yeah,
but like Chris Jones is just putting CJ Stroud through hell for 3 hours.
yeah. I mean, if they stop, I mean, here's the thing: you stop Joe Mixon, this offense just stalls out completely. You've seen it all season. If Joe Mixon doesn't get going, the offense doesn't get going. So I kind of agree with that.
And if the weather's shitty, which it probably won't be great in Kansas City at this point, like force
40
them to.
degrees and
Oh, that's not
sunny,
terrible
so not
actually.
not terrible. Yeah, that was
But
like my one point. Like maybe Houston. If this game was in Houston, I feel differently. But yeah,
yeah, if they're in a situation where they can protect Stroud long enough for him to move the ball, then you have a real. I mean, that's a real game at that point. But if Chris Jones is getting pressure, it's not going to be fun for him,
no, no, not at all.
which
All
is
right.
entirely possible.
Yeah,
What's the next one we want to look at there?
probably gonna talk about the Eagles Commanders here.
All
Um,
right.
this is for the division officially. Eagles win, they clinch. If they lose, they clinch next
Commanders
week.
just keep the door open.
Yeah,
Commanders also trying to play for
yeah.
keeping their playoff hopes alive at this point.
Commanders
A
still
little
need
bit.
to
A
win
little
to
bit.
like get that. Yeah, a little
To
bit.
make sure they
I
get the
think
7 seed.
like I said, I think one win does it for them to get that final spot. I don't necessarily believe it to be this week. They're only 3.5 point dogs, which is interesting, but I
In
just kind of see,
Washington, I guess that's the only thing
yeah,
there.
sure. I do see the Eagles just continuing to get it done. Yeah,
It's not a game that I'm concerned about for Philly.
no, not really, but it does have some implications going forward,
It has
depending
major
on what.
implications on a couple of my fantasy leagues because
Yeah,
I have some
for sure.
stock in the Commanders and
I have a
I'm
lot of
scared.
stock in the Commanders. I'm not necessarily scared, but
I don't love the situation I'm in the playoffs here.
just kind of taking a look at the last time they played. It was an 8 point game. Jaden Daniels 191, one touchdown, one interception, 18
Was that his
yards on the
first game
ground.
after the rib?
I believe so, like officially. Now, if you had Stock and Terry in that game, he had 2 targets, 1 catch, 10 yards. I don't think
Oh no, it
that's going
wasn't
to be
the
the same game
first one.
plan.
It was a couple games after that the
Was
the
it?
rib shot
Okay.
happened. Or no, wait, wasn't that against the Panthers?
Dude, I'm going to
Who
be
knows?
so honest. I don't remember when that rip shot happened.
It was one of those games in that stretch there. I don't know, but yeah, and again, especially after what the Eagles did in the second half this weekend, like
Against the
I
Steelers,
wouldn't be.
yeah. I mean, you keep that kind of momentum up and how to handle drives.
And we've
I wouldn't
given
expect like a monster scoring game potentially,
no,
but
no, but and like we've given Dan Quinn a lot of credit for how he's coached up that defense this year. It's at some point in time, talent does matter, and it's going to matter this week.
for sure.
And again, I don't think the Eagles are hanging up 35 on them, but they're going to be
No,
in control, to say the least.
definitely. Last game we talked about here real quick is Vikings Seahawks.
Yeah, just because
This
yeah,
is
that one's got some fun.
really the last game with any major playoff
Mm-hmm.
implications. Vikings lose, fall to 12-3, tougher road to that 2 seed or 1 seed.
Yeah,
Seahawks need to win to keep their hopes alive to get either into the playoffs or into that lead of the division. If they lose, it's an even tougher road to climb out of. If the Vikings win, they still are right there with the Lions, still right there with um, everybody else to really battle it out up there.
yeah. I was going to say
So
two desperate teams, very different versions of
reasons
desperate.
why, yeah,
Yeah, Vikings just need to keep pace with the Lions at this point.
yeah,
And then the Seahawks are just, I mean, they have to start winning games. Don't love this
but
week. I mean, the lines, it's a 3-point line, so that tells me that Gino's probably playing this week.
he was a full participant today. I was going
Was
to
he full
mention that.
participant? I did not
I
see that
just
today, but
that came through while we were talking.
oh, okay, gotcha. Yeah, so, you know, it's not like the Seahawks are dead in the water now with Sam Howell running out there, but that's just a quietly important game for very different reasons, just to keep things
Yeah,
interesting more than anything. And then outside of that, not really any other
yeah,
games that mean too
nothing
much.
too insane.
Yeah, I
There's
mean,
also no real storylines outside of these games.
no, there's not at all. Not at all. I'm just flipping through here. Outside of, again, we got Michael Penix playing this week, but they get the Giants at home. At
Yeah,
least he's got that.
yeah. I mean, yeah, you're getting Penix's first game. That's the biggest storyline, and we kind of touched on that already.
And then outside of that, it's just like a couple teams that are just, scrambling to stay alive that, when you look at it, should be able to take care of business. See the Cardinals get
Yeah,
this week. Cardinals go to the
Cardinals get the Panthers.
Panthers. I mean, up until last week, Panthers were looking a lot better.
Yeah,
But, yeah, and
yeah.
then,
We'll
yeah,
we'll
not a
kind of
whole lot.
see.
Yeah, that's about it.
No,
You
yeah,
know,
not a lot going on. All right, let's
yeah.
get into our picks.
Yeah. All right, so start with the one that we talked the most about there. Steelers Ravens. It's hate week. Let's just get it out of the way.
I picked Steelers. You picked the Ravens.
Yeah, obviously.
There's really no other way to say it. We both have our own reasons,
Mhm.
selfishly. And I mean, and logistically, we both have our own reasons that we're gonna believe in, and it makes sense to both of us. Lamar struggles heavily against the Steelers.
I
Steelers
never
are
feel
great.
good about picking them. I just
Yeah,
want to say
yeah.
that. But,
Steelers are
the
great.
Steelers got the first one.
Yeah, Steelers are great road dogs. They're coming off of a loss. So the point that I just brought to you previously, there's a lot that is going in Pittsburgh's favor this week. yes, they are on the road. I didn't put a thumbs up. Other than that, that's about it. I just like the team as a whole, and I like them even more if Pickens is playing.
Yeah, again, we have our reasons, and luckily we get to talk about it because both of these teams are good right now. But if the Ravens were 2-12 and the
Yeah,
Steelers
which
were 12-2, well, I'm still
we're
picking
not
the
picking this.
Ravens. Yeah,
I was gonna say we're not picking this game to even talk about, but
fair enough. I'm just saying in general, like
yeah,
even in that sense, like I would still pick the
you're
Ravens.
still
Have
picking
to,
your team because
have
you
to,
got to pick your team. I get it.
have to. Of
You gotta represent.
course.
All right, let's get to the more interesting picks for us. Broncos
Broncos
Chargers.
Chargers. I hate this.
I didn't. My pick was easy
Yeah, no,
because
you just went with the
I don't have
Broncos.
any. Yeah, because they're the better team. I don't have any stock mentally in the Chargers, and just putting pen to paper, they've looked like the better team down the stretch these last few weeks. And the Chargers
I
against good defenses tend to not show up
Yeah, I agree with
as
all
well
that. They have
offensively.
beaten the Broncos already
Yeah,
in
which
Denver,
great, which is the only thing that you can kind of say. But typically in that second game, there's some adjustments made,
for
which you
sure.
can also say against the Steelers Ravens. So it's
Yeah,
like that same similarity.
that's fair.
But I do lean the Broncos. I'm assuming you lean Chargers.
Yeah, I'm leaning the Chargers in this one. Just
Good thing that's worked out real well for you.
unnecessary shot. No, it has not worked out well for me lately.
Yeah.
I feel like no matter what, I get the Chargers wrong. If I bet against them, they screw me. If I bet them, they also screw me. It's been great actually this year with them. But I don't know. I just them playing at home, it feels like almost like a deep breath kind of game because Baker just hung up 40 on them. So I feel like there is
Yeah.
going to be a little bit of frustration in that.
Sure. Sure.
Um,
Sure. I mean,
that
losing
kind of
three
bounce
of your
back game.
last four is
Yeah,
tough as well.
not
So
ideal.
I wouldn't call this a bounce back game, but it's going to be I'm not saying the Broncos are going to go in there and blow them out. I'm thinking it's going to be a tighter game, but I'm going to lean the defense in this game.
That's fair. Yeah, I'm like looking at their last three. It's just like, okay, the Falcons game, defense played great. Offense didn't have a whole lot going on there.
Yeah.
Then the Chiefs game came back in the second half there, and then lose on the Doink field goal. Okay, letdown game the next week after, losing last second. It carries over to the next week and you get
Yeah.
dog walked.
Yeah.
That just like a little bit of a reset, even on the short week,
Sure.
could be the difference there.
Yeah. I mean, obviously we'll kind of see how that goes.
Yeah. I don't love the pick.
No, I like my pick.
I don't like picking either side of this one, honestly. All right. Eagles Commanders.
Okay. Yeah, I think we're both already on the same page with this one. I picked the Eagles.
Yeah.
It's just again, it's the same thing as the other time we picked this game. Eagles are the better team. They showed it last week that their defense can kind of control the game, and then their offense can kind of dominate the game if they really wanted to and need to. And they needed to last week because the first half didn't necessarily go the way they were hoping it for. So you just play the Commanders how you did in that first game too, and carry over that momentum you had from the second half of last week. And I think both of those paired gets the job done in this one.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. I wouldn't be shocked if the Commanders won, but I
Sure,
wouldn't not be a little bit surprised. This is
sure,
just,
yeah,
Cliff Kingsbury second half of the year, and the Eagles are the far better team.
yeah,
I just think they're in control of this game. It's kind of shuts the door on Commanders trying to win that division at all, and Eagles are in good shape. Get to play the next 2 weeks for the 1 seed.
yeah. I'm in agreement with you.
Yeah.
All right, let's go to the least fun of these games. Chiefs Texans. We talked about it a little bit, kind of
Hmm.
on the same page too. I went with the Chiefs. Kind of makes sense. For the Texans to win this game, you need CJ Stroud to play like he did last season, completely. And he has not looked the part most of this year. Nico Collins has been, since coming back, he's had highs and he's had lows. And I think a lot of that's also on Stroud. And if Mixon gets stopped pretty early on in this game, just kind of going to carry that over and just kind of be ugly.
Yeah, no, I'm with you on that. I think that that defensive front for the Chiefs can kind of take over this game and really dictate like
For sure.
the whole game. The Texans O line has just been bad this year. Like I think it's sophomore slump coupled with a bad O line is really just
Yeah, and their O line's banged
he's
up.
just
They just put Kenyon Green on IR,
yeah like
so that's your left
I do
guard
feel
right
for
there.
Stroud to an extent on that.
Yeah,
He is getting shafted a little bit there.
for sure.
So again, I mean, this is going to be an ugly game. Probably be close again. The Chiefs will find a way to win, whether it's a big play of Chandler Jones or a final drive, whatever it is. I fully expect Mahomes to play. Seen him roll his ankle before, and then he's gone on to win a Super Bowl.
Yeah,
Like
I'm not worried about that aspect. Mahomes needed to break his ankle, and for him to not play.
literally half.
I'm not saying
Yes,
anything like that, but yeah, for him to not play, he would have had to physically break his ankle. And even then, if you tell me Mahomes could play on a broken ankle, hell yeah, brother.
I'd
I
be like,
still
sure, I
would be
guess.
tough. Yeah, it's
Then
still
he'll
yeah,
break out at some point in time and be tiptoe on the sideline on like
yeah.
a
He
18-yard run out of nowhere.
he'd still be better than Kirk Cousins with two healthy Achilles.
That's true. That is very true.
Saying, all right,
Well,
who's
Kirk could
your
never run. Let's be real.
you're right there. Who's your sleeper pick of the week?
My underdog is I'm going with the Browns over the Bengals.
That's terrible. That might be the worst pick you've had yet. And your one last week was bad.
I felt like I was on the right side of that one, honestly. At least
And
like betting that spread at 5.5. That I felt very good about that, and it was close for a while, and
yeah,
then it
and
is what
Will
it
Levis
is.
got benched.
Yeah, Joe Burrow struggles against the Browns as his
Okay,
entire career.
okay.
Yeah, I mean that's the biggest reason on that. I don't know. Jameis played like kind of shit last week, but
No, he played like dog water. He played terrible. They benched him.
yeah,
Does that change your mind at all?
no, not really.
Okay. I just wanted you to have all that information before you officially locked it in.
Yeah, I mean, no, I think Burrow struggles
Okay. All
against the
right.
Browns, and
Cool.
it just feels like the way that they're falling apart right now. The funniest possible way for them to officially get eliminated is by losing to the Browns.
That would be hilarious.
So
I'm
I'm
all
here
for
for it.
that. I just don't necessarily think that's what's going to happen. But it definitely could. I just don't love DTR that much. I don't love Jameis Winston either, and I'm not glad. It's kind of sad to see the last 3 weeks happen for Jameis the way it has. But it also proves why Jameis isn't a starting quarterback in the NFL.
For sure. Yeah, I mean, he's going to get picked up again at some point. Like,
He's a fine backup for 3 weeks if you need him. But like
yeah, pretty much.
for him to start like 12 games like he had to down the stretch, eventually teams are just gonna do what they've
He
been
turns
doing.
into Jameis Winston, but it's
Yeah.
one hell of a ride every
It
single
was. It
time.
was a fun hill to go up and down. My pick this week. You kind of played doo doo on it a little bit, but I think the Panthers against the Cardinals, and I'm going with the Panthers, obviously here. I think they're still a hungry team. It's not like they necessarily looked awful in that game last week. Dallas just gave them a little bit of fit. Bryce Young had some obviously some struggles. He threw two interceptions against Dallas. And of course, it's in the game they were finally favored to tip
Right? Yeah,
into
they
the
just
kind of
they lose by
just have a
16.
little
Yeah,
bit of. So I do think he does have a bit of a bounce back here. Cardinals have
that's
a
fair.
decent pass rush, but they don't have great corners. So as long as the Panthers receivers remember that they can catch a ball, I like them.
That's fair.
And I do like Bryce Young to have a bit of a bounce back game here, put up some numbers. Obviously, I like the Cardinals as well as a team. In this week, going across the country, going to Carolina, don't love it as much.
Fair. Yeah, no, I that was one that I kind of flirted with a little bit too, but I really landed on this one because again, yeah, Burrow is 2-5 in his career against the Bengals or against the Browns, and that's multiple different quarterbacks at this point. It's Baker, it's Deshaun, it's Jameis, it's Flacco. Yeah, could be DTR. Yeah, his averages aren't terrible, but he just finds ways to lose games.
Well, that's just the Bengals this season in a
Yeah,
nutshell.
Yeah, for whatever reason, it's just like the Browns for whatever like have their number. And earlier, not this year, they did beat the Browns earlier this year,
They did,
but I
yeah,
think that was yeah, that
21 to
was
14. It wasn't as close as the score looked. Browns put
yeah,
up a
that
late
was
touchdown.
Deshaun in that game, right?
No, it
At
was
that point, so
Jameis. It was Jameis.
was it?
Unless that was the game Deshaun tore his Achilles.
I'm double checking that.
But Jameis did throw a touchdown in that game.
That was Deshaun.
No, it was the game Deshaun tore his Achilles.
Yeah, it was. It was. 'Cause yeah, I'm looking at that now. Yeah,
And not only
but
that, that
Deshaun
was Nick
started
Chubb's,
anyway.
and that was Nick Chubb's first game back, and
Yeah,
he's back on IR.
yeah. I don't know. I like Jerome Ford.
Yeah, he's fine. They're all
Hmm.
fine. Like it's
Yeah.
just like whatever at this point. All right.
But anyway,
Well, that's what we got this week. What do you got for your picks?
I got my picks again. This is just hurtful at this point, but we committed to it, and we're gonna see it through. 3-5-0 weeks to end the year
Might put you in the blue.
fixes everything. Fixes everything. But all right, last week, 2-3 again last week. Rams +3 against the Niners. Never really a doubt there. And then Broncos -4 against the Colts. Also covered for us. Did feel a little scary for a minute there, but Broncos took over. Decided to finally back the Panthers. That went to hell. Titans Bengals, that was close at halftime. Then that went to hell. And Steelers Eagles was close at halftime. And then it went to hell. So, this has just kind of been our luck this year. We're 30, 43, and 2. But preseason bets are still looking all right for us.
We'll see how that goes.
Could use the Falcons getting hot there so I could hit on both of my make and miss the playoff.
Keep
Props
wishing,
there.
pal. Keep wishing.
There's still time.
It's
And
possible.
hey, listen, it's possible. It is possible. If Baker just goes on a cold streak here, I don't hate where we're at.
Yeah.
But I just need him to get on a hot streak.
Yeah.
And the Saints to lose one more game.
Yeah, sure. That'll happen. The Saints will lose one more. I'll give you that.
But we got a few other ones that are looking good. And Rams are helping me out a little bit here.
Yeah.
And then if they get hot going into the playoffs here, then they really help me out. But I digress. Anyway, so talked about this one already. Steelers +6 against the Ravens. That's too many. It's too many. It's the same thought process.
For a division game, it's so many.
It's so many points. It's so many points. Like, obviously we're saying that, and I did the same thing last week, but I don't feel bad about making that pick.
No.
Even though it didn't work out, I don't regret having that in there. So, again, Steelers +6 against the Ravens should be fine. Again, talked about this one too. Browns +7.5 against the Bengals here. Again, too many points for a divisional game. Too many points for a team that with this quarterback is 2-5 against them.
Mm-hmm.
Like that. Obviously, I think the Browns can win this game outright. Browns +7.5. Now I'll save those last two. We'll go Dolphins -1 against the Niners. This is in Miami. West going east. 1:00 start, I believe, on this game as well.
Yeah,
if I'm not mistaken.
It's 1 o'clock. It's
1 o'clock. It's not. I lied. It's 4:30 start. But anyway,
so
that helps
really?
the Niners a little bit. Yeah, I had to double check that there. I started to think I was like I had to scroll a little bit to find that one.
Because the Rams game's at 1, and they're going across.
Yeah, they get the Jet. Yeah,
so that's a bit odd. Interesting.
Yeah. Well, I think they just needed some 4:00 games more than anything.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, because there's anyway. I do like the Dolphins in this spot. Their brand is beating teams with losing records, and the Niners right now have a losing record, and seem like they're kind of just trying to dig their own grave.
Yeah,
as weird as it's gotten over there. So I think Miami will be able to move the ball here, cover that one, win pretty handily. A little bit of a contradictory pick here, but I got the Giants +8.5 against the Falcons. Yeah, you can go ahead and laugh at me.
That's wild.
I think this is just coming down to rookie first start. I think Penix will look good, but I think they're going to play it safe, at least this week. Get your feet wet, feel comfortable, give them some easy ones, but it'll be just a closer game. And that defense has been So I like the 8.5 there. And then the last one that you're going to probably hate a lot, I feel like.
All right, let me see it.
Got the Bears plus 6.5.
Yeah, that's terrible. You just like to waste your money, I feel.
Bears plus 6.5. Jared Goff outside. Defense in shambles. First game without in shambles in terms
The
of
fact
just
that
the
you're
amount of humans
betting,
that they have to put out there.
you're betting
And first game
for
without
a,
Demont.
you're just betting for a team that does everything they can to lose games.
They don't have to win.
Yeah, but they have to
They
at
just have to
least
play them
keep it
close.
close. They can't even score points at this point.
Yeah, if they get the game to overtime, we're fine. And they went to overtime with the Vikings 2 weeks ago. 3 weeks ago,
True,
however long it was.
true, but lots happened in those 3 weeks. And also, their defense is dead last in every statistical category since Eberflus has been fired on Thanksgiving. Dead last. And you're going up against the best, if not the second best offense in football. You do the math. I'm sorry, but you do the math. Regardless
Sometimes you
of
got to push
Demont not
against the
being
grain.
there.
Sometimes you got to go against the grain here.
One thing I've
I'm
learned in this is to
desperate.
follow trend. I see that.
I'm desperate at this point. I need something to go right.
You know,
And I hated all the lines this week.
desperation and bears go hand in hand. So with that, I agree.
Yeah. So now would be a good time to start off with a 5-0 week because I need it.
Wow,
This
that's
hurts.
hilarious.
This hurts a little bit.
That
Been
that
good
one's
for
painful.
several years. We start doing this,
First
and
time
it
it's
all goes to shit.
documented though.
First time it's documented, I'm having a hell of a time.
That's
I'm
great.
not
Good for
having
you, man.
fun. But, it is what it is.
All right. Again,
All right, that's all I
guys,
got.
keep doing what you do in your fantasy playoffs. I hope you guys are doing well. Again, I'm not gonna help you. I can
So,
barely help myself. I have to beat my brother to go to two finals. So
I
we'll
also
we'll
have to beat your
see.
brother.
I hope he just loses. Gonna be honest. He owes me money, so
Fair
let's go
enough.
for it. And by that I mean he owes me binds, so I don't want him to have a cop out.
Yeah. I also have to beat your brother, and I'm in the closest. Oh, it shifted. Something
Oh
shifted in
boy.
that one that I told you at one point in time. It was 50-50
Point
split. I
point
was
oh one.
projected. I got 0.05 points,
There you go. So you're a
and he
point oh 0.04
lost
favorite.
0.06 points.
So you're like a 1 point favorite now.
I am a
Or
0.1
point
point
nine.
favorite now.
Whoa.
0.1 point
Huge.
favorite in this league.
Huge.
When we, it's funny because I found it before we started here, and I said that it was a 50-50 chance, and I was not the favorite by 0.01 points before we started this, and now I'm favored by a whole tenth of a point.
That's big time.
I know, right? I don't know what to do about that. I don't know how to feel.
All right. Well, hopefully, me and Asher will be talking about some finals here next week for you
That would
guys.
be fun.
If not, I'll be super depressed because this will be the first year in the last, I don't know, 5 years. I haven't been in the final in my fantasy leagues. So,
I was going to say, this podcast is killing both of the things that we're good at.
not really. I mean, if I get to two this year, that's just same as last year.
Fair enough. I'm just saying, but if you don't make it to any,
If I don't make the any, then
then,
I should probably
we're kind of sitting in
retire.
the same boat here.
Should probably retire. I am stepping down in one of my leagues. I'm not going back to it next year. It is none of our dynasty leagues. It is my redraft league with my brother. I hate that league so much.
Redrafts just
Hate
don't
that
even
league.
sound fun anymore. I will
All
say.
right, that's all I got for you guys. You got
That's
anything
it.
else for us, Asher? That's it.
Nope. We
All
are
right,
done.
we will see you guys next week, preparing
Oh,
for the
yeah.
holidays. So take care and all is well.
Yeah.
We're out
Let's
of
get out
here.
of here.